didn't see you there. I was reading my school issued poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson called The Crossing the Bar. Let's go in some in-depth analysis of this metaphorical poem.
And now for a list of one vocab word. Total. Born refers to a boundary or limit.
Sunset and evening star,
And one clear call for me,
and may there be no moaning of the bar.
when I put out to sea,
But such a tide as moving seems asleep,
too full for sound and foam,
when which drew from out the boundless deep,
turns again home.
twilight and the evening bell,
And after that the dark,
and may there be no sadness of farewell.
when I embark.
For though from out are born of time and place,
The flood may bear me far,
I hope to see my pilot face to face.
when I have crossed the bar.
Oh, man!
Tennyson utilizes the metaphor of crossing the sandbar as being a literal line that separates life and death. While death usually holds a negative connotation, the likeness of the sea and waves are used to show that this transition into death is a peaceful one. This poem, being one of Tennyson's last, hints at him being a speaker in the poem who is going through the process of crossing the bar himself.
Further, his faith leads him to accept his mortality so he can finally meet his creator. He uses the poem to try and prevent people from mourning over the harsh realities of life and the inevitability of death. Tennyson seeks to lessen the pain of loss for the audience by appealing to the romantic image of a journey into the unknown, and the fate set by God, who is the pilot on the uncharted voyage that is death. This image focuses on the idea of the afterlife and our lack of control over our own mortality.
The scene takes place at a harbor during the night, as the narrator waits for the high tide to come and take him out to sea into an unknown journey. Some interesting facts about the author. Lord Alfred Tennyson thrived in poetry under the reign of Queen Victoria, thus making him a Victorian poet. He was a religious man who attended Trinity College at Cambridge. As a child, he faced an abusive father. As he grew older, he was most afraid of obtaining a mental illness when he grew up. This led him to write about common themes of misery, madness, and death. Some of his other famous works include Charge of the Light Brigade and Break, Break, Break.
And now, we will analyze the poem. Sunset and evening star refers to the later years in the narrator's life, and one clear call for me is the abrupt realization that death is nearing. When I put out to sea is, in other words, when I die. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. The tide can be seen as age, where the years add up silently over and over again, until finally high tide comes and draws you back into the boundless deep, which is a symbol for death.
Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. In this section, the narrator asks his friends and family that as night falls and his time shortly comes to the end, that no one will be deeply saddened and will rather be accepting.
For though from out are born of time and place, the flood may bear me far. I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. Here the speaker wants the reader to know that after he has left the realm of the living, he still has hopes to see his pilot, who in this case is God.
The author chooses to use iambic as the poetic feat. However, he chooses not to constitute a constant meter. His goal is to create a rhythmic scheme that mimics patterns of rising and receding waves. Tennyson uses the common rhyme scheme of A-B, A-B that many other poets utilize. However, he cycles back to A at the end to relate it to the cycle of life. The tone of the poem is quite mellow and has a peaceful flow that is complemented by the waves and sea. At first glance, this is striking, considering the common man on his deathbed is rarely so contempt.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this experience as much as I have and have taken on a new appreciation of Lord Tennyson's work.
And now we have reached the end of this beautiful poem analysis. I leave you with this. One day you will cross the bar. And will it be peaceful? The world will never know.
Yes, all day.
You actually legally, I was just saying.